silent prayer meditation. Silent prayer meditation. Thank you. Honorable members, before we proceed, I would like to remind you that the virtual mini plenary is deemed to be in the precinct of Parliament, and it thus constitutes a session of the National Assembly. We would like to remind honorable members that the rules of the National Assembly and the rules of debate do apply. We also want to request honorable members to mute their microphones as well as their video feed, and only to switch it on when requested to do so. You will also notice, honorable members, that at the bottom of the screen, there is provision made in the form of an icon for those who wish to raise a point of order. And when doing so, you must keep in mind that you will be allowed onto the platform once the presiding officer have recognized you. When using the virtual system, members are urged to refrain or resist from raising unnecessary points of order or interjections. Members who are not speaking must mute their microphones. Any member who refuses to mute their microphone and interrupt debates may be requested by the presiding officer to leave the platform. This is to ensure that we can continue with the business of the mini plenary without disturbing the member who is speaking on the platform. We shall now proceed to the order, which is debate on vote number 41, water and sanitation adjustments appropriation vote. The Honourable Minister.
Thank you, House Chair. Chairperson, honourable members, Acting Director General, heads of provincial and other departments, members of boards of sanitation and water entities. I'd like to take this opportunity to pay a special tribute to an outstanding leader who passed away yesterday, a moral compass, a man of outstanding passion, very compassionate about all of us. That is why he gave the best part of his time, his life, fighting for our freedom, the freedom that we enjoy today. A man who gave so much for the realization of the freedoms that we all enjoy. A man who represented all the values of a cadre of the African National Congress. A man who was a member of this House, and therefore a former colleague to most, Andrew Mlangeni. In the last days of his life, he was asked what he would wish for. And he asked for nothing more than that he should be remembered as one of those that brought our democracy. This humility should make us responsible for ensuring that we carry through all that he fought for. We have a responsibility to live up to the ideals that he fought for, ideals of integrity, ideals of intolerance to corruption. We're enjoined to ensure that we live up to what he sacrificed for and remove corruption from every corner of this government. The idea of an ideal of an ethical society is that what he gave to us. It is that he gave up so much for. He is the last of our Rivonia trialists, and therefore the end of an auspicious period in our lives. If we cannot take the last of them and their wish through, we will have failed ourselves and the democracy we live in. It's an end of an era, and the responsibility rests on us to give back to society and make sure that that integrity they fought for is embedded in our democracy at all times. In his honor, I hope that we will dedicate most of what we do this year and make sure that the necessary integrity is vested in everything that we do. I've been in this portfolio chair for a year now. As I indicated during my budget vote last year, the induction into this sector was very heavy and intense, given the magnitude of the work at hand. When we came in, we found a department that no longer enjoyed the confidence of the people it served, having been eroded by a number of cases of corruption and many other issues that arose out of that. In essence, I was told when I arrived there that I inherited a bankrupt department with problems accumulated over many, many years. In summary, this is what the portfolio committee said to me, the current portfolio committee, when we met last year. And I quote, "Minister, sort this department and its finances out." We have dedicated a great deal of time doing just that, because that which is done is of such a magnitude. We have created a report handout to members that will be given to you because we've only got 20 minutes within which we have to say what we need to say. But we wanted to cover all the areas that we have dealt with because we know how much you are concerned about this department. I hope as you leave the chamber, you will be provided with a document. A great deal has been done by senior officials of the department, led by the Acting General Director, General Bulele Changana, various entities in the department, notably Rand Water Research Commission, my esteemed panel of advisors, and many hard-working officials in my department. For now, I'll give you a summary of what work has been put into this. The first thing we did was to put in place a water master plan, which embodies the policies and infrastructure designs to render to South Africa the water security for generations to come. This was completed within 6 months of my being in office. It is an outstanding document that has been hailed as a strategic piece of work which has the world's attention. And with its release, South Africa gained a step up in the appreciation of the world of the work that we're doing. We launched the master plan so that by the time it is brought to Parliament and to Cabinet, we have the representative views of all the stakeholders. I'm extremely grateful for the supportive work done by my panel to make sure that the master plan is done within a record time of 6 months. I need to report that there is a sanitation panel that has been established. It has worked also against a very limited time, and it has concluded a sanitation master plan in record time. My congratulations and gratitude to them for a job well done. We've used this time in getting responses to the master plan to run a parallel program to restructure the department. We would like to structure the department to respond to the principles of good governance that the master plan espouses, ensures fitness for purpose, and we want to make sure that we stabilize the department. We sought and received assistance from the Department of Public Works, Public Service and Administration with regards to the restructuring exercise that will ensure that all critical posts are duly identified and filled. We have done so to ensure, especially at top management level, all incumbents are truly fit for purpose because that is the core of the delivery mandate of this department. That exercise has been completed, and since the beginning of the current financial year, we are in the process of stabilizing the department accordingly. This process of review includes the framework on how existing employees of the department will be accommodated in the department's new organizational structure, ensuring a fair and transparent process that protects the jobs of all employees who qualify. The implementation of the structure and supporting policies will go a long way in improving the efficiency of the department and management and governance and the ethics of the department and the water sector as a whole. The structure has been signed off and will be submitted to the Minister of Public Service and Administration for his concurrence. This will ensure that we have a structure that responds to the master plan and the demands of the department as a crucial department. This will be rolled out as soon as our budget is approved, and I'm hoping all honorable members here will approve this budget because we all know now after COVID how essential water is. We have heeded your calls to root out corruption in the department, and we will report on this. In order not to destabilize the department as we root out corruption, the Acting Director General Changana established a stabilization committee so that we put all our programs in one place. The department will be able to have a stable anchor going into the next phase. Within the stabilization committee is a disciplinary unit that is dealing currently with 166 cases emanating from the Auditor General's annual reports over many years. These cases are in an advanced stage and ongoing as we put in place the necessary support structures to ensure that there is no disruption of the work of the department. The committee is taking disciplinary action against officials who are implicated in forensic investigation reports as per the recommendations that were made in those reports. The outcomes of these cases are as follows. 97 officials have so far been found guilty. 16 officials were found not guilty. 24 officials have resigned so far. On assuming office as Minister of Water and Sanitation, I was informed about the amount of irregular and wasteful expenditure that amounted to 16 billion. And this amount was revised upwards later when we settled to 31 billion. Investigations, therefore, since this as a standing matter. And here is the responsibility of the Stabilization Committee, because it served well to ensure that as we proceed with our disciplinary cases, the work of the department is not disrupted. I've also ordered investigations into the affairs of the Lepelle Northern Water Board in Limpopo and Amatola Water Board in the Eastern Cape, while a third investigation is underway at Sidibeng Water Board. In the course of the investigation, the boards of Lepelle and Amatola placed their chief executive officers on suspension and now have commenced with disciplinary processes against them. Both executives have received their charges now, and the dates of their hearings will be set down for the month of August. I consider all findings and recommendations from the investigation, and I have decided to put civil and criminal charges against those implicated in unlawful corrupt conduct in Amatola and Lepelle, i.e. the CEOs and those who would be termed the corruptors as well. The reports from the departmental investigations into the affairs of both the CEOs have been handed over to law enforcement agencies. In both cases, we are joined by a number of law enforcement agencies, including the NPA and the Public Protector, while the SIU is continuing a number of investigations at Lepelle. Both boards of Amatola and Lepelle have been placed under administration to ensure that we can stabilize them as we continue with these cases. The work of the SIU and the Hawks and the whole justice system will assist the department to find closure on all these matters, ensuring that all officials understand that corruption will no longer be tolerated. The Auditor General has always complained about the lack of consequence management in the department. We want to make sure that he understands we take his work seriously, and we are now saying there is consequence management, and you can see that. And we hope that this will filter through and also to the service providers that have acted as corruptors. We want to send a message to the public that we're cleaning up the department. We've had to go through this grubby work because that is what you asked me to do when I arrived here. I was convinced that it was necessary for the image of the department because, as you will see in both the water and sanitation master plans, we depend a great deal on investments to deliver. For that to happen, we have to convince the investors that they can rely on us and can invest in us. Should also invest in us, I must emphasize. Alongside this, a great deal of research has also been done by the Water Research Commission that will offer us necessary technological advances to deal with the problems that we have. The most exciting of these innovations is what is termed the brown revolution, which will help us save water, especially in drought-stricken areas of this country. The Water Research Commission is available to brief the Portfolio Committee on this technology, on this revolution. We did not foresee the challenges that would face us with the COVID-19 pandemic, but every crisis presents an opportunity to find new ways. Our response to COVID-19 has been exceptional. We established a National Command Center at Rand Water to coordinate the efforts of the sector and to respond with urgency as this crisis demanded. Rand Water offered us the ideal connectivity infrastructure to be able to connect across the country with all the municipalities and water entities. It is also the necessary credibility and expertise. I'm truly proud of this intervention. We are driven to ensure that South Africa has the kind of structure that is able to be used at a time like this when we have a crisis. We have risen to the occasion, and I am very proud of the people who have worked in this command center. As we've rolled out our interventions, we've aimed at ensuring that as many people as possible receive the benefits that are due to them, especially in this crisis. I am equally proud, I must say, of the effort that has been put by the NCOP in understanding this, and they have recognized the work that has been put there, and I've accepted their compliment on behalf of the department. We've gone beyond the normal and reached the furthest corners that is possible to reach our people. The department will continue in supporting water services in ensuring more sustainable water services in parallel with the implementation of tanker reduction strategy that will significantly reduce the operating costs of the interim water service. Of course, it has to be understood that this is a response to a crisis. It will not necessarily be financially sustainable, nor is it sustainable for the long term. But we are proud that we have done what is possible, and that the intervention has won praise from the president. We're very proud of that. So effective was this intervention that the Department of Basic Education has relied on us for their separate mandate for water. This crisis has also assisted us in consolidating our relationship with the private sector and other stakeholders. My sincerest gratitude goes to the CEO of Rand Water, Sipho Masai, and everybody else who has been responsible for this. This has been done with the utmost urgency, and we learned a great deal from our people as we rolled out the water tankers. This has assisted us to create an infrastructure mapping to deal with our water challenges in our water scarce country. We now need to concentrate on the revival of and maintenance of our infrastructure. Here we work with the infrastructure team in the presidency and DBSA. At our next budget, we will be able to report to you on the infrastructure that we've put together to ensure that we are able to provide the necessary support to the municipalities. But for the moment, we will continue to support municipality with their water needs through the command center. I listened to comments at various political parties who objected to our budget allocation during the budget appropriation bill debate. Some opposition parties complained about the historic lack of access to water in certain parts of the country. It has become clear to me that we need a workshop with the committees of Parliament so that we are at one about our mandate as the national department, the mandate of the municipalities and the water authorities, because this is a frequently misunderstood area. I am hoping that because honorable members have such an important role in ensuring that the services of government are given to the people, that this will be a valuable exercise and that Parliament will play a crucial role in supporting the rights of our people to get water. We will get the cognizant necessary support from the Minister of COCTA to host this partnership workshop. I remain very concerned about the financial viability of our water boards. There's a fundamental problem around financing for our local government system that must be addressed. We need to ensure that our municipalities pay for the bulk water provided to them so that the water boards can continue to operate within a sustainable environment and continue to increase water provision. Municipal debt owed to water boards now stands at 10 billion rands on bulk potable water supply services to municipalities. If this matter is not attended to earnestly, it will result in some of the water boards ceasing to operate as a result of non-payment of services rendered. This mainly applies to Citybane, Bloem, Amatola, Lepelle, and etc. I would like us to discuss this also in the workshop so that we find sustainable ways in which the boards will be paid their dues and we're able to supply water. We promised the President that we would improve on our water licenses. The department has been able to make the necessary changes to the regulatory framework to give effect to the 90-day turnaround time with effect from the 1st of April 2020. The shift from the 300 days to 90 days has resulted in significant changes to the business processes necessitating a workshop, which I hope that we will have with the various departments. The department therefore commits to offer assistance out of the turnaround time that we have. We would like to make sure that we reach out to Black emerging farmers to say to them, please apply for your licenses. They will be ready in 90 days, and the department will be able to assist you in any other way possible. I'm glad to report that together with my counterpart in the Kingdom of Lesotho, we did a soil turning event marking the construction of the Lesotho Highlands Water Project Phase 2. This project is aimed at achieving water security and aimed at delivering water to South Africa by November 2026. Since the inception of the bulk regional infrastructure grant program in 2007, 3.1 million households have benefited from the water and sanitation programs implemented. In this financial year, we are committing 3 billion, which is under Schedule 6B, to continue with the implementation of 136 bulk water and sanitation projects, and 2 billion under Schedule 5B to implement 62 projects. We have decided to prioritize connecting our water resources and the water supply systems servicing unserviced communities. And I therefore call on water service authorities to prioritize operations and maintenance of these grant-funded infrastructure by committing at least 10% of their operating budget to the maintenance of infrastructure under their jurisdiction. Through the Minister of COGTA, we would like to see this amount ring-fenced. This will ensure that water services remain in an operable state, rendering a reliable service to communities and minimizing water losses.
Honourable Minister, your time is now expired.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. The next speaker is the Honourable Semenya. The Honourable Semenya. Honourable Semenya, I think you must unmute your mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you are audible. You may continue.
Okay.
You may continue, Honourable Member.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. Let me save time and say all protocol observed. Acknowledge those all present in the August House. Chair, as the ANC, we wish to pay our tribute to our veteran and the last standing revolutionary trialist Ubaba Andrew Mlangeni. In his words, I quote, "Today I'm a free and a senior citizen now and able to enjoy the freedom that our people have denied for centuries. We owe this freedom to the icon that Madiba has become to be for South Africans and international community," close quote. Chair, from the advent of democracy, the ANC-led government has stood for the changing the lives of our people for the better. We have worked tirelessly and we will continue to work towards pursuing the radical socio-economic revolution for complete emancipation of our people from the clashes of poverty, unemployment, and inequalities. As we mark the 26 years of democracy, the ANC-led government has made substantial progress in the provision of water and sanitation for our people. In fact, around 90% of households have access to water, while approximately 83% have access to sanitation. This is a marked improvement when compared to 1994, when majority of our people were denied access to decent and dignified water and sanitation services by apartheid government. The solemn intention of the ANC-led government is to achieve the universal access to water and sanitation to all. The ANC-led government has become the enemy of its own success with regard to the provision of water and sanitation services. Our people are complaining that services are not delivered fast enough due to the number of issues that are confronting us. Some of these issues are governance related in the department. The economy is not growing as expected, changing climate impact on water resource, and the advent of coronavirus pandemic. In fact, the emergence of COVID-19 has compounded our challenges and disrupted the efforts to provide services to our people to an extent that the Minister of Finance ended up introducing the supplementary budget 2020. The supplementary budget provided an opportunity to reprioritize the budget allocation and the service delivery target for 2020 and 2021 financial year. Before looking at the supplementary budget, it is important to reflect on the original budget of Vote 41, water and sanitation. The committee noted the intention of Minister Sisulu to stabilize the governance system at the Department of Water and Sanitation in order to ensure effective and efficient function of the department. The minister further indicated that the stabilization process will be extended to all entities, including the 9 water boards that provide bulk services to municipality and other bulk water consumers. And indeed, the department has worked on resolving some of the ongoing challenges that have plunged our communities. The Hammanskraal community has been without constant access to potable water due to the malfunction and the poor state of the Rooiwal wastewater treatment plant and Themba water treatment plant works in Tshwane. The intervention by the department to coordinate and provide technical support to Tshwane Metropolitan Municipality through involved water boards such as Mahalis is well underway. To avert the crisis and provide the temporary solution to the Hammanskraal community, the ANC is pleased with the Department of Water and Sanitation's mobilization and provision of water tanks amongst many other interventions. The ANC is also pleased with the strategic intervention by the department at the Vaal River Intervention Project, which entails the refurbishment of the Sebokeng wastewater treatment plant, pump station, and pipelines. As we speak, there is no storages moving around in Sebokeng. Our people are living free. The appointment of the Ekurhuleni Water Care and Company to take over the Vaal River System Intervention Project after the end of South African Defence Force contract ended in November. These are baby steps, but are the steps that are worth taking and deserve to be noted. It is worth noting the announcement by the minister on the establishment of the Stabilization Committee that would provide advisory services to the ministry and assist Director General with the professional capacity on various disciplines in order to improve governance in the department. The Stabilization Committee is also charged with the responsibility of analyze, develop, advise on the introduction of the policy and system, and contribute to the stabilization and efficient functioning of the entire department. The Stabilization Committee will also assist with the acceleration of investigation on matters related to maladministration, fraud and corruption, misconduct, and improvement of audit findings. This is in line with the ANC National Conference resolution on dealing decisively with fraud and corruption. As such, we welcome and support this intervention, including the investigation including the investigation by the Special Investigation Unit on the alleged fraud and corruption. Following these measures being put in place, the advances have been made to tackle fraud and corruption within the department. The supplementary budget for Vote 41 reprioritized for allocation of 1.498 billion to cater for the measures to combat the spread of COVID-19 through water and sanitation services and related activities. We note that the reprioritization of the budget Vote 1 will affect the filling of vacancies and implementation of the planned infrastructure project funded through direct and indirect components of the regional bulk infrastructure grants and the water services infrastructure grant. Nevertheless, we take comfort in the department's assurance that the reallocation will not drastically affect the medium-term strategic targets. We note and appreciate the Department of Water and Sanitation measures to combat the spread of COVID-19 in providing water services to our vulnerable communities. The establishment of the COVID-19 Command Center of Water and Sanitation on the 23rd March 2020 at Redwater, Johannesburg is commended, as it is ensured coordinated and speedy dispatch the COVID-19 intervention. The distribution of water storage tanks and water supply tanks on areas with no proper water infrastructure has been progressive. To support and adopt the implementation of supplementary budget, we recommend that the implementation should follow the district model principle, which was launched as a pilot by the President of the Republic. District development model provide an integrated district-based approach to addressing service delivery challenges through, amongst others, localized procurement and job creation that promotes and support local business and involves local communities. It is also to accelerate and align and integrate service delivery under single development plan per district or metro that is developed jointly by national, province, and local government, as well as business, labor, and community in each district. It is on that note that we wish to urge the department to utilize district model to align expenditure and utilize of grants with other departments and relevant municipality, such as municipal infrastructure grants, water service infrastructure grant, and regional bulk infrastructure grants. These will ensure better access to basic services to our people and will make tangible progress to the lives of our people. The district model is a new framework for accelerated service delivery that should be welcomed and supported as it aligns people and their wishes. We further wish to urge the department to continue with the work it has undertaken in response to COVID-19 pandemic, thus far to continue to save the lives and preserving the livelihood. To this end, as the ANC, we wish to take this opportunity to thank DG Mbulela Changani and his teams, Minister Sisulu and Deputy Minister Mahlobo. You have demonstrated leadership and stayed true to your constitutional mandate. The road ahead is long and challenging. Keep up the good work. In doing so, remember the words of our ANC backroom boy, our stalwart Rivonialist, Ubaba and Mlangeni, when he said, I quote, "I did what I did not for myself, but for the people of South Africa." I thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The next speaker is the Honorable Basson.
Thank you, Chairperson. Voorzitter, op 16 Junie 2019 het die DA minister Sisulu gewaarsku dat water en sanitasie in ICU is met 'n toksiese Mlangeni virus wat die departement besmet het tot in sy fondamente. Minister Sisulu, today is 421 days that you are in charge of water and sanitation. 421 days, and you have not appointed a Director General. 421 days, and you have failed to eradicate the filthy, undignified bucket toilets. 421 days, and only 13 of the 138 officials have been dismissed after they've been found guilty of corruption, fraud, and maladministration. Chairperson, corruption relates to 16 billion in irregular expenditure and 1.7 billion in fruitless and wasteful expenditure. Minister, and your reaction to the irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure was, and I quote, "I found this department bankrupt upon taking it over." You continue to put the blame of this mess on your predecessor and ANC cadres, Nomvula Mlangeni and Mr. Mkwinti. Minister, it's your president and the ANC that appointed them that created this mess. Let me repeat this, Minister. Your president has appointed them. Now it's your responsibility to deal with this mess. However, Minister, I must agree with you on one thing. The department is bankrupt. But unfortunately, Minister, in general, I don't see any changes in the 427 days of your leadership, except the Water Master Plan that started in 2015, the 5th Parliament, which you now completed. I recall in October 2016, when pressure built up against Nomvula Mlangeni's interference in the day-to-day running of the department, she sidestepped difficult questions by appointing the Motel Task Team to investigate the department. What happened to this report, as it was never tabled in Parliament? Minister, 4 years later, we see you follow the same route by appointing the same person to investigate the same issues within water and sanitation. This seems like another smokescreen. The DA is fighting against corruption while the ANC is only talking and talking about it. No action. No one jailed in the last 6 years, costing ratepayers billions. The combined effort of whistleblowers, investigative journalists, the Auditor General and the SIU have begun to address many of the issues raised in the report commissioned by South Africa's Corruption Watch and the International Water Integrity Network. However, Chairperson, although some of the officials have resigned and others face internal disciplinary action, there have been few serious consequences. This raises a question about the effectiveness of these actions. The corruption report, Money Down the Drain, details corruption and gross mismanagement not only in the department, but across the whole water sector, including municipalities. And the result? Dry taps, dirty water, delayed in projects, and massive escalation of project costs. We have seen our water tankers cause taps to run dry in many places in South Africa. For some people, emergencies that require tank transport are opportunities and create dangerous situations. Like in 2014, when 3 people were killed during protests in Mlangeni, a community nearby Brits in the northwest. The Mlangeni water supply failed after a lead sabotage of the pumps to enrich the private owners of water tankers who have paid kickbacks to municipal officials to cut the water. We see this happen every day all over the country, Minister. Minister, this is only one example of how corruption in the country is affecting the water sector and water security of households, and the entire country is put on risk. Chairperson, 119 days of COVID-19 lockdown brought out the true situation of our water crisis. It revealed that people's basic rights to reliable, safe water are crushed by this government. And vulnerable communities are struggling to find water to protect themselves against this virus. It is evident that resources are denied to communities because of mismanagement and corruption. Minister, you and the ANC are failing the people of this country. You need to sort this out, Minister, and you need to sort it out now. Die DA ondersteun die verlewering van 17,000 watertanks teen 'n koste van meer as R300 miljoen aan kwesbare gemeenskappe om hulle te beskerm teen die virus. Maar dis niks anders as vrugtelose uitgawes as die watertanks nie vol water gehou word nie. Voorsitter, die DA daag minister Sisulu uit om te verduidelik hoe gemeenskap hulle self moet beskerm teen die COVID-19 virus as haar departement watertanks lewer aan korrupte ANC munisipaliteite wat nie die vermoë het om dit reg in te installeer nie. Wat nog te sê om watertanks vol water te hou? Minister, it's criminal to put faith in ANC municipalities to service water tanks now, when they have been failing to do so for more than 25 years. In Mbazani in the Eastern Cape, emergency tanks are dry. Clinics in Port Elizabeth do not have water and patients had to be turned away. Areas in Moratele, Northwest, have not received any assistance with water tanks, while many villages struggle without water. Chairperson, Minister Sisulu likes to remind us of her state intelligence credentials when she served as Minister of Intelligence. She furthermore claims that she is an intelligence officer of the highest rank. Yet she fails to use this intelligence to protect the people against corrupt municipalities not delivering the basic needs of water. South Africa is moving to a peak in COVID-19 cases, and people are complaining all over the country that their tanks are empty. This makes the emergency water program nothing but a dry run exercise. Minister, the buck stops with you to fix this mess. No more talking, Minister. No more arrogance, Minister. It's your responsibility to sort out this mess created by your ANC. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. The next speaker is the Honourable Moslala.
Thanks so much, Chairperson. According to the World Health Organization, to help minimize the chances of spreading the coronavirus, people must constantly wash their hands and they must maintain reasonable physical distance from others. This means they must also have access to reasonable basic services, such as clean ablution facilities, have water in their yards to avoid contact with other people, and must have homes of reasonable sizes to keep their distance. How is this possible in South Africa, where there are more than 1.4 million households in human settlement that have no water, no electricity, and no dignified sanitation? There have been general neglect on the need to improve human settlement, to ensure adequate provision of quality water resources, dignified sanitation, and service provision to every place where human beings reside. The situation was dire even before COVID-19, Minister, and it is worse now. It is so bad that this department had to scurry around to deliver water tanks to over 2,000 communities around the country. How do you think these communities got their water before, Minister? Today, almost 12% of the households in this country do not have access to water, pipe water in their yards. Over 50% of households do not have running water inside their homes, Minister, and 13% depend on communal taps. But the situation gets worse when you zoom into particular communities. In Giyani, Limpopo, for example, despite billions of rand spent in response to a drought that hit the area in 2010, the community still does not have reliable water supply. This is the reality of many communities around the country. This is where your department should be focusing, Minister Sisulu. The fact that you were able to deliver water tanks to as many communities as you have shows that the resolution of the water problem in this country lie in having political will. It also requires political will to secure available water resources, to prevent wastage of this critical resource. It is common knowledge that South Africa is on the verge of social and ecological precipice as a consequence on the inability of this regime to safeguard water resource in the country over the past 26 years. The extent of the challenges facing sustainable water provision range from a mere inability of the state to invest in new water infrastructure and maintain existing infrastructure, to the obsession with rapacious, environmentally unfriendly development that has almost decimated our fresh water resources, as well as the reluctance of the state to enforce legislation to oblige industry, in particular the mining industry, to prevent putting groundwater and fresh water resources and to pay for rehabilitating water resources polluted by their operation. Minister, the consequence of this neglect are too dire for the country. As far back as 2016, the country lost 1.1 trillion liters of water through leaks. That is over 3 billion liters of water a day lost through government neglect. In the city of Cape Town, which was experiencing severe water shortages at the time, over 44 billion liters of water was lost through leaks in 1 year. Over 65% of all water lost in the province is through leaks. On top of this flagrant disregard for maintaining water infrastructure, the state has not invested significantly in building new infrastructure, including dams and attendant infrastructure that would ensure access to quality water for household and industrial development. What this pandemic should have taught you, Minister, is that we need to eradicate the bucket system as soon as possible. We need each home to have its own sanitation system and connected to a sewage system. Minister, all schools should have flushing toilets, not what we see across this country. There must not be a single household that does not have running water in this country, Minister. You have let an opportunity brought about by the crisis to escape you. We reject this budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. The next speaker is the Honourable Mlangeni.
Honourable House Chairperson, Honourable Minister and Deputy Ministers, Honourable Members, the COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the urgency of ensuring access to safe water and sanitation, especially in rural areas of our country. There is an increase in water demand for COVID-19 specific sanitation, and yet we face the reality of water scarcity in many provinces. Government's own recommendation is to wash our hands for 20 seconds, yet people in some areas do not even have water. We therefore need to ensure water management for a sustainable future, which should be at the forefront of our agenda now. Water is our life, and we must demand accountability, transparency, and good governance so that every person in South Africa has access to clean and affordable water. Every effort must be made to ensure that the provision of water tanks to address water demand is not a permanent solution. Where water tanks have been placed for temporary use, there needs to be water delivered to fill them up. Otherwise, they are no use to the people and just become empty containers. Just like we have seen Mhlatuza Award 32, a few hours back I was there, abantu batamanzi bawatsele tank in lelo kanye ngeviki after 7 days. And how are we supposed to get our people benefiting if we are doing that? Therefore, the IFP will stringently monitor the department's commitment that the reallocation of 1.48 billion will also be used to implement water source development. Honorable members, we need to reinforce a high standard of good governance and service delivery in this sector. Water delivery, above all, needs to be managed by those who are able to be held accountable so that we may ensure that, at minimum, we deliver on basic human and constitutional rights. This department has a terrible governance record, and the IFP fully supported the Scorpers announcement in June that a full parliamentary inquiry should be conducted into the affairs of the department. This followed after the AG's latest findings highlighted the alarming extent of irregular and wasteful expenditure in this department. We cannot sit back and allow these critical public resources to be squandered. The IFP recently demanded that Premier Sihle Zikalala investigate the furor surrounding the procurement process of water supply tender allocation between WSSA and Mlangeni Water in King Cetshwayo District Municipality. This was after the water supply to the community was abruptly cut, prompting a huge outcry and protest. IFP is pleased that the Minister Sisulu has taken action and mandated the water boards to assist municipalities that are water service authorities to deliver water and related services to the community. And just last week, Honorable Minister and Honorable Members, we learned from the Zululand Observer that the Minister has actually put a task team ezobheka udaba lokuthi kwenzakalani ngodaba lwamanzi eKing Cetshwayo District Municipality nakubahlali bakhona. Siyawemukela ke ngqongqoshe nabahlonishwa bonke ukungenelela kwakho. Kodwa bese sisho nje ukuthi sisuke singapolitiki masiraise ama-issues, sisuke siraise izinto ezikhona ngempela kubantu esihlala nabo phansi endaweni zasemakhaya namakhosi. And ongazathi ukungenelela kwakho ngqongqoshe singakuspreada kubo bonke omasipala lapho kuneyinkinga khona, njengoba sihlale sikuvezela ukuthi inkinga zikuphi nakuphi ngqongqoshe. Siyawemukela ke task team uyifakile. In conclusion, honorable members, the IFP is committed to carefully monitoring the performance of this department. Siyayixhasa nakuba sikhalaza nje siyayixhasa le budget vote.
The next speaker
Pushimane.
Ndabezitha wena mamonga wosuku.
The Honorable May.
Thank you, Chairperson. What we need in South Africa is a change of attitude. It is time that the ANC listen to the needs of the people of our country. Suid-Afrika is in 'n baie moeilike posisie. Ons slinger van hoop na wanhoop, maar ons is vinniger op pad na wanhoop. En een van die grootste redes is die swak dienslewering in Suid-Afrika. Mense is negatief. Mense weet nie meer wat om te doen nie. 35% van ons water 35% van die water in die metros gaan verlore as gevolg van swak infrastruktuur en waterlekke. Maar die belangrikste van alles is, COVID-19 is not our biggest enemy. We hope a vaccine is found soon. Ons grootste vyand is die feit dat daar watertekort en hongersnood op pad is. Waar droogte is hongersnood. Ons het te min aandag gegee aan die opgaar en verspreiding van damme die afgelope jare. 21 jaar gelede het die akademici al gewaarsku en gesê daar moet aandag geskenk word daaraan. Die bevolkingsaanwas groei geweldig. Mense stroom uit Afrika die land binne. Dit neem 7 tot 10 jaar om 'n dam te bou en daar's geen beplanning op hierdie oomblik nie. Spesifiek wil ek na die Oos-Kaap vandag verwys en ek weet die hele Suid-Afrika het 'n probleem met water. Hoekom wil ek na die Oos-Kaap verwys? 2 jaar gelede was die Kouga-dam 7% vol. Hy het goeie reëns gekry, het gestyg na 55%. Vanoggend staan hy op 6%. Die gemiddelde damme in die Oos-Kaap is vandag 18%. Verlede jaar die Vryheidsfront daarop aangedring dat ons onmiddellik op kort en langtermyn watertanks moet opsit. Ek praat nie van die 170,000 wat weer gesteel is nie as gevolg van swart ekonomiese bemagtiging. Om 'n watertank op te sit kos vandag 18,000, dit sluit geete en die platform van die tank self op. Meneer die voorsitter, ons sien soveel kere dat die ANC die boere van hierdie land as die vyand sien. Maar ek wil vir u sê die boere kan 'n groot rol speel om te help in die oplos van waterprobleme in Suid-Afrika. Daar's soveel boere vandag wat bereid is om op hulle eie onkoste groot damme van miljoene rande te bou. Ek was die afgelope 3 weke by 4 verskillende boere wat vir my die terreine uitgewys het. Ek wil vir u sê, die minister moet nie vergeet om nader aan die boere te beweeg nie. Dit is nodig dat ons vinnig aandag daaraan gee. U weet die mooiste voorbeeld wat ek gesien het van verhoudings tussen boere en plaaswerkers wat was op my besoeke daar. Ek vra vir hulle hoe gaan dit? Hulle sê ons is van die bevoorregte mense, ons gaan slaap elke aand vol geëet. Dit kan die ANC nie van sy mense sê nie. Meneer die voorsitter, ek hoor wat die minister sê. Sy's nou 'n jaar in haar portefeulje. Kom ons werk saam, al is dit hoe moeilik, is maklik om te kritiseer, maar water is nie iets om mee te speel nie. Ek nooi haar uit, to visit the farmers above the Kouga Dam. En ek kan haar verseker, saam sal daar oplossings gevind kan word. Ons moet werk skep, ons moet water hê, ons mense mag nie honger ly en sterf van honger nie. Suid-Afrika is in diep moeilikheid. Ek dank u.
Dank u, achtbare lid. The next speaker is the Honorable Deputy Minister for Water and Sanitation, the Honorable Mashlobo.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Comrade Chair, Ministers, especially Minister Sisulu, Deputy Ministers, Deputy Minister Shwete, all protocol observed. We are lowering our revolutionary banner today and salute our departed Isitwalande, Isiaparankwe, Ubaba Uendru Mlangeni. This is an end of a revolutionary era for this generation that fulfilled its mission without fail and without betrayal. They demonstrated a political conviction to the cause of revolution for a just society and a democratic South Africa. They remain an inspiration across the globe for the ideals they stood for and the ideals that they were prepared to die for. May his revolutionary soul rest in eternal peace. We also want to convey our condolences to all the families for those who have lost their loved ones due to COVID-19. And we salute all those people who are in the front line who continue to soldier on in the service of humanity, especially in the water and sanitation space. We wish all those that are infected courage and strength in a speedy recovery. We wish to commend His Excellency President Ramaphosa as the chairperson of the AU and our president on how he has responded to the question of COVID-19 and contained the spread. It is not an easy task for his government and ourselves to find a fine balance between saving lives and livelihoods. We have recorded strides in the last 26 years and during the course of this pandemic in expanding access to water for those that were deliberately excluded. But as the ANC, we are the first to admit that more still needs to be done. Water resources and sanitation are an important instrument in the global fight against COVID-19, but in our country, it is also important as an enabler and a catalyst for economic recovery and investment as part of the network infrastructure. Members, let's remember that South Africa remains a water-scarce country. We share our rivers with the neighboring state. This year, we'll be celebrating 20 years of Orasako with Botswana, Lesotho, Namibia, and ourselves in terms of cooperation and existence. We seek to implement a radical socio-economic transformation policy of the ANC by reversing the apartheid spatial planning, where infrastructure for water was well developed in urban areas and metros due to apartheid policy, but also influenced by mineral exploitation at the expense of rural communities as well since during COVID-19. Our plan for the National Water and Sanitation Master Plan, we wanted to continue to support the NDP to grow our economy, ensure water security by ensuring that mega projects of about 126 billion rand are actually at a planning stage, some at the design stage, others in funding, others are in the execution, so that the deficit of the 3% should be averted, but we're able to rejuvenate this economy that is on the downturn. Water conservation and demand management will have to be able to continue so that we can be able to secure the limited water resources. All our wastewater reclamation plans, we must use them as water reclamation plans so that we can be able to reuse the water and increase the yield. Consideration will also be given to water reallocation from lower to higher end beneficiation. Construction of dams is in our plan. Our wastewater treatment plants that are in problems are going to be reclaimed. We are exploring groundwater use, protection of the springs and desalination. More emphasis is being put on the asset management doctrine, including party attention to operation and maintenance. A number of infrastructure must be replaced, Chair, while we're rehabilitating and building more jobs that are necessarily needed. On job creation, we should use opportunity in municipal bulk infrastructure projects, conservation and demand management, issues of resource protection by cleaning canals, rivers desalination, and creating the necessary technical capacity that is required. Water quality deterioration is happening by mines, by wastewater treatment plants, by municipalities. Our team is working so hard to fight pollution. The waste discharge system is going to be finalized, and polluters are going to be able to pay. Bankable projects are already in place. We should be able to implement them for upgrading of the backlogs, whether they're the new infrastructure. Water is essential for life. We need to be able to bring safe sanitation to our people. We are this generation that Madiba spoke about when he said, sometimes it falls upon a generation to be great. You can't be that great generation. We dare not fail our people. We need to ensure that our existing generation will be able to deliver water to all. We shall make mistakes along the way. We will not be able to claim any easy victories, but we are moving on as the ANC, and we have the political will. As I close, let's be encouraged by Madiba's word when he said, the greatest glory in living lies not in the never failing, but rising every time we fail. God bless South Africa, her sons and daughters. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Minister. I now want to call upon the Honorable Makubela Mashele, who will chair the rest of the session as I recognize the Reverend KRJ Meshu.
Thank you, House Chair. COVID-19 has forced government to restructure budget allocations to departments for the 2021 financial year to address challenges caused by this pandemic. People have been advised to practice health protocols and also to observe them in order to minimize infections. But because of corruption, some government departments, such as the Department of Water and Sanitation, have been looting money that should have been used to safeguard the health of our people. As access to water and sanitation are important keys to fight the spread of the virus, the ACDP would like to know how this nation can win the fight against the spread of this virus when 1/3 of South Africans, which is about 21 million people, still do not have a reliable source of clean water. It is shocking to hear that the Department of Water and Sanitation officials have spent 16 billion rands of its budget irregularly and further spent 1.7 billion rands fruitlessly and wastefully. For this wastage, only 13 officials have been fired. What about the rest? Because many more were involved in this. How much of the billions that have been wasted will be recovered? This wastage of resources that should have been used to help our people, particularly the most vulnerable, is totally unacceptable. While the ACDP commends the minister for the steps she has taken to clean the department, we still find it unacceptable that it has taken more than 25 years for the minister to assure Parliament that consequent management will finally be instituted. I hope that the Auditor General, who has been complaining about the lack of consequences, will finally see progress in this regard. In Guyana, as an example, there is a bulk water project which should have been delivered water to 50 or so villages. It was started 6 years ago with a budget of 500 million rands. But the residents are still fetching water from communal taps, and the budget has now escalated to 300 billion rands. According to a tweet from @Kesim Tlatlana, with a photograph of a river in a concrete canal, I quote, "This is what we found as we explored the Guyana water crisis. The community drinks this water. Children bath here. Animals drink from here. Some fall in and die. But it is the only water resource in the village of Shikukwani," close quote. The condition of our water and sewage treatment plants, furthermore, has been unclear since the department cancelled its blue and green drop reports. The last blue drop report, which was written in 2014 and not released, revealed that the number of municipalities treating water to safe drinking quality had halved to 44 in the previous 2 years. Almost 6 years after the Education Department adopted minimum standards for sanitation in South African schools, as many as 3,800 schools still rely on pit latrines. The fact that 2 children, Michael Komape in Limpopo and Lumkam Tetwa from the Eastern Cape, fell to their death into these unsafe pit latrines has not moved government to prioritize eradicating pit latrines.
Honorable Mishre, your time has expired.
Thank you.
Thank you. I now recognize the honorable member from UDM. UDM. I will move over to the Honorable Mahau TL from ATM. Honorable Mahau, I now recognize the Honorable August from Good.
Honorable Chair, we all need water to survive. Never before in our history has a lack of access to water been more life-threatening than it is right now. The realignment of funds to enable a more rapid rollout of access to water is welcome. The impact of the realignment on the capacity of Department of Water and Sanitation to monitor and enforce the necessary legislation must be carefully managed. While we are fortunate that the drought seems finally to be over, there are instances like in the Lamunhoek River outside Barrydale in the Western Cape, where rivers has not flowed for years. Not because of drought, but because of upstream farmers taking all the water. In the case of the Lamunhoek River, this means that Mr. Freek Willemse, a land restitution farmer at the downstream end of the river, gets no water at all, even though our Water Act promises that water will be shared equitably. In the case of Mr. Willemse, it is not only greed, but illegal approves from water officials that have created this situation. Poor compliance has seen problems with water security occur across the country, including in the Vaal River, on which the economic powerhouse of Gauteng is dependent. Whilst we accelerate the rollout of access to water, we also need to keep making sure that the water demands can be met sustainably and that water quality standards are upheld. The department must keep up and accelerate its efforts to stop corruption and wasteful spending, because this means that we can do more with the same limited budget that we have. I wish and would like to acknowledge the hard work of the department staff who have been working behind the scenes to accelerate the delivery of water throughout the lockdown period. It is regrettable that it has taken a pandemic to lead to the acceleration of delivery. But now that it is underway, I hope that this will continue until every home has access to safe water. I support the adjustment budget and reallocations needed to deal with the COVID pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you, member. I now recognize the Honorable N.N. Sishwai. Honorable member N.N. Sishwai. Honorable member, unmute your mic.
Thank you, Chairperson. Protocol observed. In the words of Isitolandwe Parankwe, Baba Mlangeni, I quote, "People around the world want peace, to live in harmony, to have dignity, to enjoy the respect of their human rights. This is the better life that Nelson Mandela, together with the ANC, envisioned for the people of South Africa." A close quote. May his soul rest in peace. This is the better life that the Department of Water and Sanitation continues to champion in light of the global pandemic of COVID-19. Following the outbreak and subsequent announcement made by the President, the National Treasury approved the use of 306 million for the Department of Water and Sanitation for regional bulk infrastructure grant for the implementation of the COVID-19 intervention. We don't understand why some other parties are opposing the district development model, because it is evident from the COVID-19 experience that the formulation of district development model arrived at the right time, because we've seen the smooth and seamless collaboration between various stakeholders, between COGTA, the department, municipalities, NGOs, on their joint effort to distribute water tanks to our communities. We know why the DA cry against the district delivery model. Anything that brings structures of government together for better performance dismantles their apartheid constitutional measures of separate development. The ANC wishes to commend the department on its efforts aimed at ensuring water security by embarking on the following interventions in the Eastern Cape. Epatawete Muma has been prioritized as Klina Dam is at the lowest level over the past 4 years. And there is an initiative of raising the dam wall and bulk pipeline from Tsomo to Ngamakwe, and this is in the collaboration of Amatole District. Amatole District Municipality is the hardest hit by drought and putting more strain on efforts made to deal with COVID. The ANC welcomes the intervention by the department on the dispersion of water tanks and tankers across all provinces, in particular the rural areas, far-reaching and water-scarce areas. We note with concern the high level of theft and vandalism of the water infrastructure, which has limited the provision of water and has negatively affected communities. As the ANC, we call on these communities to work with government to root out these elements of anarchy that seek to reverse the gains that have been made in the recent months to improve the lives of our people. As the ANC, we note that water tankering in the long term is unsustainable, and thus welcome the reallocated funds, 1.498 billion, to be used to implement bulk linkage projects to replace the need for water tankering. Just for your knowledge, 19,355 tanks have been installed already in many provinces. 15,678 tankers already have been involved in the program. The schools, 2,486 toilets have been installed in many schools. 260 tankers always be there. 1,414 tankers are not installed yet, and the program is ongoing. The ANC also welcomes the numerous calls made by the Minister on municipalities to suspend cutting water supply for the duration of the lockdown, as government has called on citizens to practice hygiene by washing their hands on a regular basis. 112,000 liters of hand sanitizers have been given to some municipalities. 45,000 bars of soap have been given out. 12,000 buckets with hygienic material also have been given out to assist in terms of the pandemic. In the words of President Ramaphosa in his Monday newsletters to the nation, we will weather. I hope we will weather this storm. We will restore our country to health and to prosperity.
Honorable Member, your time has expired.
Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I now invite the Honorable Member from AIC. Honorable Member from AIC. I now invite the Honorable Member from COPE. Honorable Member from COPE, you are invited to take the platform. I now move over to the Honorable Member from PAC. Honorable Member from PAC. I now recognize the Honorable M.A. Sheikh Imam from NFP. Honorable Sheikh Imam. I now recognize the Honorable Hendricks from Al Jamaa.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, Al Jamaa will vote in favor of this budget because we have a minister who is giving effect to the last wishes of Tatu Andrew Malenga, a national hero that the corruption of the 1994 that was not adequately dealt with during his lifetime will receive attention. We believe that the minister will honor his last wishes. The hundreds of cadres who has led down the revolution should be court-martialed, Honorable Chair. They must be charged with crimes against humanity because what they have done was a threat to our national security. I hope the minister also have on the radar the sewage water treatment plant at Zandvlei near Makassar and Kailicha, the site of the naked eviction that we all know about. They evicted him as that site is part of the corruption that exists with a 2 billion rand tender for this Cape state capture project involving several political parties. Honorable Chair, water treatment plants should be located in suburbs or not near townships alone. You know, Honorable Chair, the treated effluent is diverted to waterways on its way to the sea. And here I'm referring especially to the Kales River. And these waterways runs through homesteads. It affects people, it affects cattle, it affects horses. And the policy to try and develop super water treatment plants is anti-revolutionary, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, South Africa is one of the few countries in the world whose constitution recognizes basic services such as access to enough water. We commend the government for progress made on making water and sanitation accessible to several communities. However, much must still be done. The access to water and sanitation is not equitable as several communities are still without these services. This is evident by the community protest and recent Supreme Court of Appeal judgment, which compensated the family for the loss of their child who fell into a school pit latrine. At the Masiphumelele informal settlement, residents must endure lack of access to water and sanitation facilities because of the fear of black creep into white suburbs. During the Cape of Storms, these canals overflow and sewage water flood into the sacks of residents. At the Silvertown informal settlement in Malmesbury, residents are denied basic services such as water. In Bremer in KwaZulu-Natal, residents must endure regular water shedding, which leaves them with empty water tanks for several days. Honorable Chair, we would like to thank the Minister for the sense of excitement that she's created in the country, that she's going to do something to stop this corruption
Honourable Member,
with water
your
once and for
time
all.
has expired. I now recognize the Honourable M.R. Mashiko.
Thank you, Chairperson. The ANC wishes to express its unwavering support for the adjusted budget vote. We must equally commend the department for its efforts to mitigate the devastating effect of COVID-19 pandemic. Having said so, we also will want to also echo our acceptance and also realization of having lost a very, very senior leader of the ANC, Mlangeni. Chairperson, as of the 14th of July, we were pleased that the department has delivered 19,355 tanks. However, we must also say that only 15,678 of them are working, but 1,414 are still going to be made to be functional. Chairperson, as the ANC want to welcome the proposed future plans by the department, which include the introduction of sustainable methodology, for instance, DWS, your MESA and COCTA are working towards sustainable supply of water by developing rudimentary schemes in the most vulnerable and communities not yet formally served with installation of water, for instance, your informal settlement. This will create job opportunities to those particular areas because only people from those areas will be employed to do those particular jobs. The department will continue its support to water service authorities in ensuring more sustainable water services through the implementation of a tanker reduction strategy, which will significantly reduce the operating cost of the interim water service. We note with concern, though, the various challenges raised by the department in intervention strategies, which were as follows, as raised. Currently, the demand is more than the supply, especially for those villages hit by drought and those without any infrastructure at all. There were challenges in participation by the local SMMEs due to the fact that the procurement was centralized. The reasons to centralize the procurement was the rapid rollout. However, that was not welcomed by local people because they were no longer creating jobs. The erection of standards for the installation of tanks was very labor intensive and took longer to finalize its responsibilities, as the centralization. Vandalism caused by some tanks to be taken out of operation was affecting the community that need to be served. The ANC want to reinstate our support for the district development model, which has been successfully piloted across the 3 district municipalities. The district development model, which is led by COCTA, is to be integrated with the water sector master plan, so as to secure
Honorable Mashiko, are you still on the platform?
No, inkathi ngaqhubeka ngoba bengakaqeda ukudebate.
I now recognize the Honorable Minister. You may take the platform and close the debate.
Thank you very much, House Chair. And I must say, I thoroughly enjoyed the debate. And I am very grateful to those progressive forces in the chamber who have supported the budget. I would not have expected anything less.
What has happened to me, Chairperson?
Chair, we seem to have a cross line with a member of the ANC who had not finished what he had to say.
Honorable Mashiko, you were cut off, you were disconnected. Your connection did not come through.
Okay. What is it?
Honorable Mashiko,
yes, ma'am.
You were cut off, your connection got cut off. Perhaps the table staff can give us an indication of the time that was still left from your time so that you can conclude your debate.
Sure.
You were left with 2 minutes, Honorable Mashiko. You can continue.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to say that we want to agree the view that the speedy appointment of the TG is necessary, but also the view that, Chair, remember that unfortunately, Member May is not a member of the committee. Therefore, whatever he says is not necessarily out of what we are talking about. It is our view that the department is doing well, and that we of course need to keep on monitoring them and oversighting them in order for them to deliver what we mean today. Babungwezi, the investigation was for 17, 18, 19 financial year. It was not going to stop the 1920-2021 budget. For that reason, that can still be done, but we want to pass this budget today in order for us to get move forward. The ANC therefore support the budget, Chairperson. Thank you very much.
Next time you must listen properly. I'm talking about things that you are. Listen properly next time.
Honorable Mashiko, order.
You're out of order, Mashiko.
Order, Honorable Ngwezi. Honorable Ngwezi and Honorable Mashiko, order. Minister, you may take the platform.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. And I was saying thank you very much to those progressive forces in the chamber who have supported the bill, the budget, sorry. I would not have expected anything else. The pandemic that has descended on our shores, like everywhere else, of COVID, has made everybody realize the essence and necessity of water. And we have worked tirelessly to make sure that we are able to respond to this pandemic. And that is why today we have the adjusted budget that we're discussing now. Thank you very much to those who have accepted this. To the Honorable Basson, I note that you have learned a lot from Honorable Mania of standing up and pointing fingers at people in a very demeaning way. It doesn't add anything to what you're saying. So it would be better if you just stopped it. And I want to correct you on a very important ethical matter. At no point have I ever accused the previous ministers.
Excuse me,
previous ministers.
I raised my
Honorable Faber.
Chairperson, I raised my hand on a point of order.
I recognize you, Honorable Faber.
Thank you, Chair. Please, can you please, on Rule 82, help the minister out there, reference to a member in respectful terms. In the House or in a many plenary session, that there's a respectful way of speak to a member. Please.
Honorable Faber, the minister had said, Honorable Person, this order is, you are really out of order. Minister, you may
No, Chairperson,
continue.
the way she spoke about our member,
Honorable
Chair,
Faber,
it's
you are in a point
disrespectful.
of debate. You are in a point of debate. You are in no way assisting the process. The minister indicated and was responding to the debate by responding to Honorable Person. Honorable Minister, you may take the platform. Honorable Faber, you are out of order.
Chair.
Honorable Faber, you are out of order. Minister,
You are not even
continue
our
with the
member
debate.
for a committee. Please don't disrupt our engagement.
Honorable members.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, House Chair. The Honorable Basson says that he has not seen any difference in the work that we've been doing. And I think that perhaps he should get up from his deep slumber and smell the coffee. We have been working very hard. The work that we have put out there is visible to all, and he'd better make sure that he's awake most of the time. Otherwise, I do not see that there's very much that he contributed to the debate that we had. I listened very much to the honorable member from the EFF, and I was a bit puzzled. It did seem to me that there was a disjuncture between what she was saying earlier and what she was saying later. Perhaps she contradicted some matters in her speech when she took over ad-libbing what she was going to say. Honorable Ngwezi, I think that you're allowing yourself to be misled by media statements. Thank you for your support, by the way, but I want to correct you on the matter that SCOPA has not taken a decision to investigate this administration. This decision was taken by SCOPA to investigate the past administration. We have therefore written to SCOPA to inform them that we are more than willing to come and present to them what we have been doing that would have caused concern in the past. Honorable May, and I would like to say thank you for your acknowledgement of our intervention in KwaZulu-Natal, Honorable Ngwezi. Honorable May, I'm very grateful for the compliment that you've given. And I'd like to indicate to Honorable May that the ANC does not see farmers as the enemy. Please, that is a misconception that we would like to ensure we correct at all times. We do not see farmers as the enemy. And you are inviting me to meet with the farmers. We do meet with the farmers on a regular basis, and we have worked with them, we work with them, but I will accept your invitation and come and meet with the farmers in your area. Honorable Hendricks, I think you're in the wrong party. You should consider joining the ANC. I really appreciated what you said, and we are making a difference in our people's lives. And with your support, the wind behind our wings, we will certainly make a better use of the time that we have in Parliament. Honorable Meshwa bemoans the number of officials that have already been sanctioned. I want to indicate to Honorable Meshwa that the investigations are ongoing. What we're reporting now is what we've achieved up to this point. We will continue with the investigations and, of course, report on the progress as we go on. The Guyani project is under investigation, Honorable Meshwa, for the same reason that you are indicating to us. And when that is over, we will come and report back to Parliament. But it is important, Honorable Meshwa, that you understand the distinction of the mandate of water affairs and other departments. The Department of Education is responsible for the sanitation of schools, not the Department of Water Affairs. So you're crying at the wrong funeral. Comrade Chair, I would like to thank the members, especially of the ANC. Without their support, constant support, we would not have been where we are right now. They've been with us all the time, making sure
Minister,
that we have the necessary
unfortunately,
support.
your
Thank
time
you
has
very much
expired.
to my colleagues from the ANC. Amandla.
Honorable members, thank you,
Away
Minister.
two.
Away two.
Order,
Away
members.
two.
Away
two.
Away
two.
Unlearn to the house. Command and to the house. And one lane to the house.
Order, honorable members. Order, Honorable Kaula, order. Members, you are reminded that the debates on defense budget vote, justice and constitutional development budget vote, and environmental, forestry, and Fisheries budget vote will take place at 16:15 on this virtual platform. That concludes the debate and the business of this virtual mini plenary. The mini plenary will now rise.
Thank you.